Hello, welcome back to our streaming people or people watching after the fact. Welcome. We're back again. I'm going to be working on the network episode of the next Knowledge Fight animated. I do want to show off a little of what I did in the meantime. I haven't streamed in a couple weeks because, I've been having really bad internet, and I just knew it wasn't going to work. And then also, just haven't really felt like it. So I want to show this little thing I did. This is a line in the when Alex says, like in the big boardrooms, and these are not the boardrooms with the holograms. These are different boardrooms. That Alex, quote, has been in them all. The boardrooms in D.C. So you got D.C. there in the background. The boardrooms in New York. Nice NYC skyline with the Statue of Liberty 100 times bigger than she usually appears. Or the big boardrooms, ready? In LA. This is my favorite one I did. I drew the Hollywood sign. I also increased the size because the actual Hollywood sign, I copied this mountain from Google Maps 3D view to get the exact angle and shape of it. And the Hollywood sign is it's like as big as the HOLL. That's how long it is. It's not very prominent. It's always a lot bigger in people's minds. Also, that hill is so much huger than it really is in real life. If we were looking at the city of LA from here, this Hollywood sign would be like under those buildings, way far away, barely visible. But you notice when people draw cityscapes or establishing pictures, it's more of a composite. And I found that out while I was looking up reference pictures, is that a lot of cityscapes of New York, they don't actually look like the city. They sort of composite the most famous buildings together and landmarks all into one. But then the other thing I did was kind of color it. So DC is kind of greenish, and then New York's kind of bluish, and then LA is a nice golden yellow. The big boardrooms in DC, the big boardrooms in New York, the big boardrooms in LA. I've been in them all. So that was fun. I had a good time drawing that and doing these little transitions and stuff. So that's that. The thing I'm thinking of drawing right now is an idea that came from Veronica, one of our friend of the channel, and frequent stream viewer and collaborator. And that is for the last scene when it says it's a demon feast. We're gonna draw little demons. Maybe two. I'm thinking two demons. They're gonna be cartoony and mischievous. They're gonna have a bib and a fork and a knife, and maybe licking their chops. It's a demon feast, and you're for dinner. It's a demon feast, folks, and you're for dinner. I decided not to write the word folks. Just, it's a demon feast. I don't know, that the comma folks seems like something you would maybe like say that, but it's not necessarily the actual slogan. So in my mind, the slogan is simply, it's a demon feast, and you're for dinner. It's a demon feast, and you're for dinner. I don't know about that, and you're for dinner. Let's... I don't know. I might change the font. Actually, I don't know. It's hard to tell with the background the way it is. I'm going to just put a temporary dark background on this. Ish background. And let's see how it pops. It's a demon feast, and you're for dinner. So, anyway, that's that. So, what's been on everyone's mind? What's going on in the world? I get in a lot of YouTube rabbit holes. YouTube just takes you for a ride, doesn't it? It's like, ooh, maybe you like this. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I will like that. And I watch it, and then I'm like, I want more of that. And YouTube's like, already ahead of you. It's the next suggested video. And then I will suddenly have that thing on my mind. And I'll be so into it. And then I'll go to my home page on YouTube. And then all my there it is. It's everything you want. More and more and more and more. I start throwing them onto my watch later. And it's just a feedback loop. And then every once in a while, YouTube is just like, and then it just stops. It's just like, nope. No more Corridor Crew videos anywhere to be found unless I dig through my actual subscriptions. But for like a month or whatever, it was just Corridor Crew videos all over the place. I think I may have just watched them all. Because at least with Corridor Crew, it's not like a genre of video. It's just from this one fucking channel. But I watched damn near half their episodes without ever even subscribing. So weird. I do like Corridor Crew stuff. It's a shame that they have to be. I don't like their relationship with Black Rifle Coffee. That is sketch. That to me shows a extreme lack of good sense and good judgment. Possibly even a lack of morals, a lack of compassion for your fellow man. And it's a big strike against them from me. It's probably why I lost a bit of my enthusiasm for them. Is like, I don't like their fucking capitalist ass attitude, which they don't normally do. They seem like they would be smarter than that, and they are in many ways, but that's a fucking shame. Well, it's a shame people don't just fucking look into the people you're gonna work with. And yeah, maybe they put a bunch of money on the table, and maybe you really want money. Fine, do it. Just, yeah, do it then, fine. But I'm not happy about it, and I'm, it's why everyone's gonna disappoint you. Everyone does. The past bunch of years, I used to be a big stand-up comedy fan. I used to have a high regard, generally, for comedians. I used to carry this sort of belief that a comedian is someone who can see through the bullshit, man, and they can tell it how it is, and they're not afraid to say what other people are thinking. And over the years, this idea has been horribly proven wrong. And it's silly even that I ever thought that, to be honest. Think about the hardest you have ever laughed. When you're gut-busting, side-splitting, rolling on the floor. Where were you? Were you in a fucking comedy club? Listening to some douchebag scream slurs at people? Do accents? Hey, Chinese people do talk funny. Like, you might have laughed. I'm not saying you didn't laugh. I laughed. I laughed at all of that shit. Did you laugh when Joe Rogan did his girl voice? Anytime he's like, so I was having dinner with my girlfriend, and she's like, and she's just saying some normal shit, but he has to give her like a screeching, like dumb voice. No, those were not the times that you laughed your ass off. When you were laughing so hard you thought you might pass out, you were with your friends. You were surrounded by people you like. You were with your family. You were with your siblings. You were doing some silly stuff. You saw someone made a funny voice, said a funny thing, and it builds up. And it's entirely contextual. It's not it's never like some big, significant, smart thing that you're laughing at. Most likely, in this case of the hardest you've ever laughed. It wasn't probably something like that was an epiphany. It didn't like bring down the power or whatever. It was some goofy, silly shit. It was people talking, your friends talking in a funny voice. Something like that, right? Everywhere you go, you hear people chatting with their friends and laughing. They're cracking jokes. They're having goofs. They're goofing off. That's literally what every human does. Everybody does this. If, you know, in normal functioning human adult or kid or whatever age, you joke around and you laugh with your friends. And the kind of shit that makes you funny can vary widely. It could be like, oh my God, that's so true. Never thought of it that way kind of funny. There's also the, oh my God, that would be absurd. And that's so funny because I know it's not true kind of funny. It can be I'm so confused. That was the last thing I expected you to say. I didn't expect to hear that voice coming out of your mouth. That shock surprise kind of funny. And a lot of times it's maybe a big blend of all of those. When you laugh with your friends, you're also laughing at the memory of your friends. You're laughing because you love this person or you feel some affection or some relationship to this person and you like them. And so you're laughing, they're laughing, everyone's laughing. This happens all the time, every single day, all over the world, and it has for a million fucking years. And then you get a stand-up comedian, and you listen to them just spew their fucking bullshit on their dumbass podcast about, oh, the craft of the stand-up comedian. And, you know, comedians just understand humor in a way. Like, they think it's their job. Oh, God. They think that their job is to, like, teach the audience what is funny. And what is funny? Oh, it's just this, like, intangible quality that extends from this magical man on stage who was born with this special gift to not only spread joy, which that's another stupid fucking cliche that a lot of stand-ups say. We're just here to spread joy in the world. Well, at the same time, being like, we're the only ones who are brave enough to yell slurs at people and make disabled people feel like shit. Like, cool, bro. So they think that they're there to teach people what funny is. They literally think that anyone who's not a stand-up comic is sitting there with their friends going, the economy, serious, oh man, it would be very nice to go to Austin, Texas, and go to a comedy club and maybe hear someone break this fucking reality that I'm in, this humorless world. I don't even know. Like, people have senses of humor and they laugh. Your job as a stand-up comic is to get up there and entertain a crowd of people. You're not doing a service. You are not doing anything like that. You go up and you tell jokes that make people fucking laugh, and then they have a good time. That's all you do. Nobody who has any kind of power is ever going to give one single fuck what you just said. You're not going to change anything about society. You are there to keep people in those seats buying more booze. That's lit. And imposter syndrome. Oh, sometimes I feel like I'm not really it, I feel like I got imposter syndrome. No, bitch! You're an imposter! That's all it is. The imposter syndrome, that is like the light of reality spilling through your illusional curtains that you block off into your world so you can think that you're like a special type of magical human who has this gift of humor and you can bestow it upon people. You are an imposter. Listen to that little voice. If a stand-up comedian ever watches this, listen to that little voice. It's not a delusion. It's not a syndrome. You literally are an imposter. That's why you feel like one. You are an imposter. And I'm talking to any stand-up comic. I'm talking about any stand-up comic that has a fucking podcast. All of them. Every single one of you. Quit your fucking podcast. And get a fucking hobby. Do your job. Your quote unquote day job, where you fucking sleep all day and you go to a nightclub or whatever, you tour, blah blah blah. You do your day job, and then get a hobby. That's what normal people do. We work our jobs, and then we do a hobby, and then we hang out with our friends, and then we laugh, and every once in a while we might want to go to a comedy club. And then because we want to hear some white guy talk about how he can't say anything anymore nowadays because everyone's so woke. Oh, God, I would love to hear a fucking comedian tell me about why wokeness is bad. Wouldn't that be so cool if a comedian could finally say what we're all thinking? I really hate how everyone's so aware of what's going on. That sucks. Remember when everyone didn't know shit about fuck? Oh my God, that's when things were really funny. But all this wokeness. Oh, and oh God. Canceled. Oh, I'm gonna get canceled. Canceled, man. That would be Christmas times 1,000. To literally let's cancel every single one of these goddamn comedy, so-called stand-up comedy podcasts. I'm not saying all comedy podcasts are bad. I'm saying when a stand-up comedian just gets a fucking podcast, or they all just cannibalize. They're all on each other's podcast. You can't even fucking tell what you're watching anymore. It's the Bobby Lee, Brendan Schaub, Ari Shafir, blah, 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 all of this, Joe Rogan, they're all just on each other's podcasts. Great. You're all a bunch of fucking imposters. Cancel that shit. Another big problem is the fact that I know so many of these comedians way more more than I ever should know a stand-up comedian. Because they all overshare. They just talk and talk and talk about nothing for hours on their podcast. But once they've run out of material, which they do like in the first 5 minutes of their first episode, after that, it's just a bunch of stupid ass oversharing, a bunch of griping, a bunch of bitching about how hard their lives are while they try to sell shitty products. It's just bullshit. It's bullshit. One of the reasons I loved a good comedian is the same reason that you love laughing with your friends. Because you're thinking, hey, I like this person. They're saying funny stuff, and it's funny. And I like this I'm happy that I'm with this person. This person is saying funny stuff that I appreciate. Okay? So, let's say instead of your friends or your family or people you laugh with, your shitty school bully is there. And he's saying the same shit. He's saying that he's using a funny voice. And you're looking at this asshole like, you fucking piece of shit. You're a fucking bully. Fuck you. You're not funny. You're not going to laugh. You're not going to laugh the same when someone that you hate because you know they're an asshole is standing up on stage trying to make you laugh, right? Now, I used to find a lot of people are really funny. Fucking Bill Cosby. I laughed my ass off at that guy. He was so funny, and I really liked him as a kid. Right? Now, he doesn't fucking make me laugh. Like, I could think back to those old jokes and I'm not laughing. If he comes up with some new jokes, I could give a fuck. I don't want to hear him. Right? Because fuck that guy. I hate that guy. So these comics are spilling their guts out, oversharing, week after week, day after day, all over YouTube, all over Spotify, all over everything. And we get to know them. And we get to learn that they're all fucking psychopaths. Like petty, vindictive, selfish, humorless, thin-skinned pieces of shit. Every fucking one of them. And if you got an exception, fine. But goddamn near enough of them to where I don't give a fuck. I'm not listening to any more of this shit. Because, honestly, I was blissfully unaware. Of these people's true shittiness. So then, when they're up on stage delivering jokes, I can suspend my disbelief. I give them the benefit of the doubt. I assume, it's probably a good guy. Seems like a funny guy. Seems like an observant guy. Clever guy. Ooh, look at that. And I'm then at least open to enjoy it. So that even if you're trash, I'll say, he's not for me, but whatever. But when you have exposed how much of a greedy fucking shitbag you are, Tom Segura, then I don't give a fuck what you want to say on stage. And then the fact that on top of that, you get on stage and you don't even tell jokes. You reuse old material. You steal fucking jokes. You just say nonsense that doesn't even have a goddamn punchline. It's fucking insulting. If you're a comedian, get the fuck off of a podcast. Do not make any public statements. Don't joke around on Twitter. You're cannibalizing yourself. You're overexposing yourself. Everyone knows that you're a fucked shithead who's so fucking selfish and out of touch and shitty to everyone around them that no one's going to give a fuck what you say. No one's going to laugh at your jokes, even if they're funny. Because you're a fucked asshole. And nobody wants to be made to laugh by a fucked asshole who fucking sucks and is a jerk and is a bully. You don't laugh but from their jokes. You maybe laugh at them. You know, the only laughter I've gotten out of a stand-up comedian in the past few years is when they fucking bomb and I'm laughing at them. And guess what? They bomb every fucking time, except they happen to have a screaming crowd of dumbass sycophants in the crowd. Now, you might say, well, hey, if the crowd's laughing, then they're funny. Sure. Live crowds are going to laugh a lot more than any crowd watching this from afar or watching a recording of it. That's the nature of live events, right? You've probably laughed really hard in groups of people at shows because you see them live and the energy. It's so easy to make people laugh in a not like say a non-stand-up comedy situation. If it's a formal, like I used to do orchestra, right? An orchestra concert. Like the littlest thing will make the whole crowd crack up because of that like tension. There's a tension in the crowd. It's generally a little more like, not to say that it's super serious, but it's everyone's going to be quiet. We're all going to just enjoy music. We're not here to make a ruckus. So the littlest little thing, like a conductor, like oh, oops, I got the wrong book, and he'll just give a little shrug to the crowd, all over the crowd, right? The littlest little things will make people laugh in public. You're primed to laugh, right? That's one of your few reactions that you can even do to communicate anything. You can clap, you could boo, you could laugh. What the fuck else are you gonna do that's gonna like be noticed in a crowd of people, right? So live events, live shows, people are primed to laugh. You also have this motivated laugh. Like, I paid a lot of money to be there. I want to see this. Like, this is what I've been excited about this whole week. I'm happy I'm here. You're going to be more primed to laugh. You probably maybe haven't heard of this guy, or maybe only saw a couple episodes of his podcast and decide you like him because he hasn't burned that bridge yet. You haven't gotten to the episode where he talks about like the way he treats people, the way he treats women or whatever. Oh man. This has just been getting me. This has been getting me lately, and I just haven't really been able to talk about it. It's been hard to even because I'm mad about. But I'm just mad about the laziness. Mistake delusions of grandeur for confidence, and the way we reward confidence. It sucks. It's bad for society to do that. And rewarding it's not that the rewarding is bad. It's that these rewards are deprived or are kept away from everyone else, right? If we lived in a society that actually took care of its people, if there were no homeless, if everyone had a house, so much of this too, like the money grubbing, the reason the whole the comedy podcast shit got so out of hand is largely due to the fact that everyone needs fucking money and they're extremely insecure about not having any of it and being destitute. And then once you get a bit of money, then you're like, ooh, this is nice. Take private jets and shit. Flying first class. Talking sushi with the boys. And then it's really hard to take that away. If you take that away, they'll fucking kill themselves. They cannot handle being taken away that life of luxury. The luxury of having disproportionately more money than you're worth. That's like a strong drug. They can't let that go. So, I don't know. Financial insecurity. It's not any one person's fault, but it is our fucked society. That we don't just decide, hey, and they all deserve this shit. I don't hear any comedians talking that shit. I don't hear any comedians ever say this. What is this so-called like so-called? I haven't heard a single goddamn stand-up comedian say anything that was remotely intelligent. And I'm talking about these podcast fucks. All right. If you've heard a comedian actually be intelligent, I would love to hear them. I'm craving it. I'm craving it. I'd like to hear some fucking wisdom. Let's hear this so-called truth that they're speaking through comedy. Would love to see it. Because so far it's, ew, what if I was gay? That guy is gay. Hey, people who don't speak our language with a different accent, they suck. They sound so funny. Have you ever smelled their stupid food? Oh my God, food from other countries. That's what they taught me. These are the profound truths that we're getting passed down by our holy fathers of fucking comedy. Wow. We love you. Just kidding. Every fucking one of those comedy podcasts just can't comics as well. All right. Let's draw a picture. We're going to draw a picture. We're going to draw a picture. Let's draw a picture. Let's draw a picture. We're gonna draw a picture. We're gonna draw a picture.
Andy in Kansas, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Hello, Alex. I'm a first-time caller. I'm a huge fan. I love your work.
I love you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Knowledge Fight. It's The Knowledge Fight.
It's The Knowledge Fight now?
Oops, accidentally changed titles of the podcast by misspeaking. Oh, no.
Already off to a blistering start, as is our want.
We're terrible at the opening. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
This is a podcast where we sit down and drink a little bit of wine and discuss Alex Jones. But
Twist!
This is a chubby checker level twist. I watch tons of InfoWars and know a lot about Alex Jones.
And I don't know a goddamn thing about him.
And that's where we find our fun. Guys.
So far.
Sorry we only had one episode last week, but, realities of life happen. And we didn't promise you shit.
That is where we find our fun, Dan.
So,
you got very defensive very
what's going on with the audio there?
quickly.
Yeah, I had a
Nobody would have even said anything. Would have
twist.
been like,
I got
"Oh,
defensive."
it's a good thing that we're finally getting an episode." And instead, you're like, "Fuck you guys."
I think I'm projecting a little bit of anger at myself, not because we didn't get the episode, any episodes out last week, other than Monday, but because I listened to the show. I listened to Alex Jones the entire week for what feels like nothing.
Yeah, it was a very fruitless quest for you.
That makes me very angry. That's like if I had played hours of Zelda and did not end up freeing an elephant.
Jesus, you are going to keep going about Zelda. It's I've heard nothing but positive reviews about it. I don't have
so
any
good.
Nintendo, so I don't get to play Breath of the Wild.
That is actually why we didn't record.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've been playing too much Zelda. By the way, guys, it's a great game.
All right.
But that's not what this is about.
Let's stop buzz marketing. They're not paying us.
This show is not a video game review show. But it is.
That would be a stark pivot really quick.
Yeah, that would be like Trump being a decent man all of a sudden. That level of pivot. Guys, we like to start things off. We like to, get warmed up. So I have a couple of out-of-context clips of Alex Jones from the area of time we're covering is all of last week, March 6th through 10th.
Right.
But I reserve the right to go back to that time period more specifically later.
Okay.
Because the only reason it's basically Monday through Wednesday is what we're covering, but we have to go to Friday in order. Fuck this.
You are turning this into a very
Here's the big
convoluted
enchilada.
question. Jesus, now you're interrupting me with clips? Man,
What is
Zelda
going
has
on?
changed you.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that.
Here's the big enchilada.
That's our out of context drop.
That was it?
I've noticed.
I kept waiting for something.
No, see, here's the thing. I've noticed that he is now obsessed with the expression "the big enchilada"
Has he been saying that a lot?
so much. I could make a massive supercut of like the 30 times he says it over a couple days, but I just have a second.
That's not even the big enchilada. Let me give you the big kahuna.
Now it's not even the big enchilada. There's the big kahuna.
Those aren't related to each other in any way.
They're just both big.
Yeah.
Big kahuna.
Big
That's a
enchilada.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big enchilada is just delicious. Might order an enchilada for
Have
dinner.
you considered whether or not the big kahuna is also delicious?
I
don't think
imagine
you've,
he is.
You think so?
Yeah.
What is the big kahuna?
The big kahuna is like it's a Hawaiian thing.
That's
It's a
right.
Hawaiian
You
term.
lived in Hawaii
for a
while.
little bit.
Yeah.
It's just a cool dude, man.
Oh,
The
okay.
big kahuna is the guy who's on top.
It's not like an official title or something like that.
I don't think so. It's not like King Kamehameha or anything
Right.
like that. Or, the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a. That's the state fish.
Oh,
I just like saying it.
I can tell.
Anyway,
You said it with relish.
so, Jordan,
All right, let's get to some clips.
we're going to start here on March 6th. That's Monday,
Uh-huh.
if you're nasty. And what goes on this episode is Alex is still in a holding pattern at this point because he is still like all this bad news is coming out about Russia, all of these things. Like the news hasn't broken at this point that General Flynn has
Also been an agent for Turkey as well.
yeah,
Just making that money.
retroactively files.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, real bad. But he still has to like keep up his side of things. So this clip is how he decides to start the show off, and it I would say it's ill-advised, and it's very dishonest, and it also is a good example of victim card playing when that is not appropriate at all.
Said it 3 weeks ago when General Flynn resigned, that he was basically told to resign, told that the president had ordered him to resign. He didn't even go in and ask the president. He just resigned.
He doesn't develop this in this clip, but this is something he talks about all the time, and he's basically hanging Reince Priebus out to dry.
I mean, not a bad idea.
No, but that's...
You should be hanging just about everybody out to dry at this point.
Yeah, but Alex's narrative is Reince Priebus likes to go to people and tell them that they need to quit, and that the president has told them to quit, and then they go and talk to Trump, and Trump's like, I didn't say that.
I don't think I think the news is that Trump didn't tell Flynn to quit, that Trump told him not to, and it was everybody else around him who was
You've
like,
got to get the fuck out of
yeah,
here.
yeah, it was like Pence and those guys being like, hey, Trump, this is fucking insane. Don't do this anymore.
This is beyond what we can absorb.
Yeah.
That's
We're testing the limits, and this might be beyond the limits.
That seems like a more likely story than the story of Reince Priebus sneakily going around and trying to trick people into resigning.
Yeah. Like, nah, we're done with this whole America thing.
Well, here's the good news. Like,
Okay.
impeachments are much easier as they go along. You get used to it. It's like it's like committing a burglary.
Right.
The
right.
first one is incredibly difficult, but by the time you're on to the fourth impeachment, you got it down.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
You've streamlined the system.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so-
get them in, get them out.
Yeah, so I think that's how we'd
It'd
be like,
take at least 2 months to impeach Trump. We get through Pence in about a week and a half.
Yep.
Then fucking Paul
Ryan's
Ryan.
easy.
Paul Ryan's actually just assassinated by Congress. Like, they just murder him on the floor.
Sure.
Who's next in line? The president pro
I
tempore?
don't fucking know at that
That
point.
would be the oldest ranking Senate member. So let's just go with the devil. I'm assuming he's one of them at this point.
Wait, hold on.
He was elected in Alabama. We know that.
The next person in the order of succession isn't the oldest person.
No, the president pro tempore is the oldest. Traditionally they give it to the oldest member of the Senate. Like That's
age
why-
oldest or longest
Age
tenured?
oldest. Age oldest.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Exactly. Well, that's why that fucking what's his Strom Thurmond was the fourth in line to become president for years.
Oh, that makes sense.
Strom Thurmond.
I always wondered why that was the case.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It surely wasn't because he was a well-known social justice warrior.
Certainly not. He's not out there with Rainbow Snatch having fun in the parks.
Nope. He's hating on the blacks.
So anyway, Flynn.
Yeah. Thank God he's dead. By the way.
Amen.
Yeah.
So Flynn's got, he got duped by Priebus. You got Priebused.
You're gonna need to take the short Priebus to get to school from now on.
So then it gets more into like how this exact same thing basically happened with Sessions, but didn't. It's very weird, this
All right.
narrative.
And the word I got Friday, before it even came out on Saturday, was that President Trump was absolutely infuriated, and it's now in the news, that he had not
You don't need to every day.
even talked to the
every
Attorney
day. You
General
don't need
about
to put
recusing himself.
Trump is
And then
furious. It's in the news every day.
Yeah, it's in the tweets, it's
Yeah.
in the paper,
I
it's in
just-
the white papers.
If you put it in the newspaper, you're just doing dog bites man all over again.
Absolutely.
Trump is always furious.
It's Trump is mad is taken as read.
yeah,
it's
exactly.
implied
Yeah,
across the board.
Yeah, every story.
But when you were talking, you went over.
Yeah, sorry, I got very frustrated with his lies.
It's very stupid. But
We're off to a great start.
yeah, you know what? We can't take weeks off in the future. Our rhythm is slightly off, and I think we can both feel it.
Yeah. We're
Well,
gonna get into the groove here.
This white wine is what's doing it. We always drink red wine or champagne, and I think this white wine is fucking us up.
Okay.
Anyway, what he said there was that the reason that Trump was really mad is because Sessions didn't ask him about resigning or recusing himself, which is not the role of the Attorney General.
Isn't that that's bad ethically?
It would be bad.
It would be very bad if the Attorney General went to the president and was like, "Hey,
Hey, bro.
this investigation into you, do you want me to recuse myself?"
Yeah, that seems incredibly unethical.
Yeah,
But that's what Alex wants, man.
of course.
So he's mad because he didn't get to consult on it, even though the Attorney General's office and the executive branch, the president, are separate entities.
Quote, unquote.
For now.
Yeah,
That's the,
yeah. Until Trump declares himself also the Attorney General.
At press time, that has not happened.
But it may.
Who knows? I mean, we're recording over the weekend,
Yeah,
but
Monday could bring all kinds of new Trump is dictator for life. All of these headlines I can believe.
yeah, anything is possible except for Alex telling the truth.
ridiculous that the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, recused himself. When he was very clear, he was asked about Russians talking to them as surrogates on the campaign trail. Of course, he, as the ranking member of the Armed Services Committee in the Senate, spoke with the Russians twice that year.
Still on that lie.
So this is running scared, and Drudge has the headline, but we've been calling it since day one. Dems smell blood in the water. Comey turns on Trump.
Again, we agree that there's blood in
Yeah,
the water.
there is blood in the water.
Now, the most amazing thing about all of this is I went and pulled the reports yesterday and did a special live report at 1 o'clock. And a lot of you watched it. We also aired excerpts of it on yesterday's Sunday show. And I went and pulled up the articles from a month ago when they were all over the news saying wiretaps tracking the Trump Organization and tracking phone calls out of Trump Tower recorded General Flynn talking to the Russian ambassador. They went, oh, it's so dirty, it's so bad. When he admittedly was setting up the phone calls
None of that
through the
happened.
ambassador for a call with the president and Putin. That's what presidents do.
Exactly zero of that happened.
Yeah, 100%.
Zero of that happened.
And the stuff that
Not
is-
even one of the things that he said. I don't even think the word "the" in that sentence was accurate.
It's a disgrace to the definite article.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like the parts of it that are kind of accurate are misrepresented.
Well, they didn't wiretap Trump.
No.
Why we already got distracted from getting Sessions away by just Trump lying and everybody being like, "Well, where's the evidence?" Of course, there's no goddamn evidence.
Yeah, it's a distraction
It's
tactic.
another lie.
Yeah. It's
Just
it's-
ignore it.
Look at this over here. Look at this over here.
Yeah, he's jangling keys in front of the press, and they're like, "Oh, they're shiny." That's what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's babies now.
Yeah, we all babies up in this. Let me suck
All
that
right.
titty. We babies.
All right. Oh, boy. That white wine is destroying you.
Oh, my God. I think back here is that I'm being too playful. I think this white wine is bringing out a unnecessary playfulness that is out of my knowledge fight character.
I think you're just really struggling to divorce yourself from the Zelda world.
There is a part
like
of that.
you're still wandering about it in your brain like, oh, look, that's beautiful. I saved an elephant.
That elephant is really cool.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, everything is bullshit. Everything is fake in what he's saying. Other false equivalences about this exact same stuff later. But one of the things he doesn't understand is what he's talking about, basically. Which sounds like
Alex Jones, doesn't understand what he's talking about. The movie.
that's the headline. But he says these things like Flynn was taking calls to set up meetings for Trump to talk to them theoretically about sanctions, but the media twists it and says that they were talking about sanctions. The reports from
Yeah.
intelligence.
Well, and even then, the wiretap that they're talking about is loosely, I think their basis for the story is that there was a server that was connected to Trump.
And it connected to the Alpha Bank.
Yeah, and it connected to the Alpha Bank, and that was 80% of its traffic just going back and forth there.
Yeah.
And every time they're like, oh, he's probably spam email, experts are like, no, that
There's
wasn't
not a
fucking
chance.
spam email. Yeah.
It's specifically set up to be secret.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's a private server used for illicit business.
now what if they had
The one reason that we don't have Hillary Clinton as the president
Uh-huh.
is because it took 3 weeks into Trump's goddamn presidency to find this bullshit.
Jordan, let me speculate something.
Let's speculate.
So that's why he had to set up a separate server connected to them, doing tons of traffic.
What's-
Because it's awesome.
What's a
It's
really good spam email?
spam dank memes. It's just tons of cool memes
Okay.
that the bank
All
is
right.
sending Trump through his personal server.
That bank that is giving him a lot of money and he's owing and great deals and so on and so forth. Okay, good point.
It's memes.
Good point. Sweet memes.
Sweet ass memes. But yeah, the other thing is that Alex conflates the wiretap stuff with what Trump asserted, and that is that Obama did this.
Right.
And that is not true at all, even
What
in the loosest sense.
An insane.
So hold on. But that's why I think right thinking.
Which leaves because, and of course Trump would say it because that's the type of thinking Trump has. Like in Trump's mind, if somebody was challenging him for the presidency, he would be like, "Well, of course you wiretap them.
Of course, I would.
How else are you
sabotage
going to
him.
get them? Yeah,
absolutely.
you got to wiretap them.
It's cutthroat business world shit.
Exactly.
And that's-
So to him, it makes perfect sense. I genuinely think he believes that utter and complete bullshit.
because he read it on Breitbart,
Yeah, well.
which is another problem that will come up. But back to the clip.
But they were all over the news saying they had the transcript. The New York Times had it. Obama.
Again, he's implying that the transcripts are released, and they aren't.
They are not.
Last week, before all this latest wiretapping broke, before Trump stood up against it, said they gave it to the New York Times, that they, quote, protected the intelligence so that Trump couldn't get rid of it. Oh, we committed a crime, so Trump couldn't get rid of it.
Here he's implying that they gave the information to the media to protect it, and when what actually happened was
They
that
disseminated it through government agencies, right?
Yes.
And lowered the classification as much as possible so as many people could see it.
and made it so the various intelligence agencies could share information.
Right.
That was what the executive order that Obama signed
Right.
did.
The information that proved that Trump was committing treason all over the place. Our
Has-
president's a traitor, right? Have we all just agreed on that yet?
Well, I mean, even if
Which, by extension, means that the entire GOP Congress is traitors.
They're
like
at
all
least
of that
aiding
stuff.
and abetting
yeah,
a traitor.
exactly.
but like if you want
Hang them all.
if you want to take a step back and like not say something that inflammatory, you can
Right.
just take the instance of the Chinese granting.
The trademark is insane.
yeah,
That's by definition.
yeah.
One sentence of the Constitution says don't do that. It might as well have been in parentheses Thomas Jefferson in the margin saying, by the way, we can see the future and this is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
End parentheses.
Yeah, like it's a fucking Simpsons
It's,
episode.
yeah, it is
Predicting the
100%
future.
what he did.
Yeah.
And nobody is fucking, all of the Second Amendment bullshit of like, oh, you got to protect the Constitution goes out the fucking window when it's goddamn Trump the traitor.
Right.
Ooh, I just did our first dirty dossier, I think.
Trump traitor?
Trump traitor.
Traitor Trump.
Traitor Trump.
That's where I get my
That's
groceries.
also, yeah, God damn it, you got there first, you son of a bitch.
Ah.
And then they have Brennan and Clapper and all the usual suspects on TV on the Sunday shows yesterday
Benicio del Toro, Ken Kesey.
saying Trump's crazy. They use words like preposterous. They use words like reckless, just bizarre. That Trump says his transition team was under surveillance, and, of course, nothing was found. Where do you think President Trump got that?
Breitbart.
Yeah, it certainly
On
wasn't
Monday.
from him.
Type it in. The House head of the Intelligence Board Committee, Nunes, said, we've been reviewing the evidence for a month. There's nothing there, not even phone calls. Until General Flynn is in there supposedly for the president as the national security advisor, lining up his phone calls with world leaders. Flynn is known to work 18 hours a day.
Oh, okay.
While everybody else stands around with their thumbs in their rear ends. I'm sorry. So
I forgive you.
this has just become unbelievable.
So, like, this clip looks really bad a week later.
Yeah.
It looked bad then, but it looks real bad now.
You know the thing that really frustrates me about the whole wiretap bullshit is that Trump, as president, could just declassify the evidence that he was being wiretapped
100%.
instantly.
Yeah,
Which, if there was evidence, that's a total Trump move, right?
sure.
He just declassifies it. Somebody's told him, hey, you can declassify this. These people will be under indictment tomorrow.
It will prove.
It will, yeah.
It will prove a massive conspiracy
Yeah,
against you.
yeah, and that's something that you should do.
It would show that the globalists are
Right.
moving against you.
And frankly, I would do that if I were Trump. I would be like, look, there's this massive conspiracy.
Were that true, I would support him doing that.
Exactly.
As well, yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense. It's almost like if there was some sort of shadowy agency infiltrating the government, we would want to get rid of it,
Sure.
even if it wasn't from Russia.
Yeah, absolutely. There was that great question in one of Spicer's press conferences where a lady asked, so if Trump has the proof, why is he asking Congress to investigate this? Couldn't he just provide the proof? And there was no answer to that question.
No, of course not.
He's like, I think he's asking that people go through investigate.
Yeah,
Just,
nothing.
Just scatting.
Sean Spicer is a weasel of the highest order.
Yeah, that clip from his press conference at the end of the week when he was talking, someone asked him about the jobs report and how Trump in the past had said those were fake.
They're definitely not fake this time. We're all lying.
It's just the big laugh, like, that's terrifying.
From the press corps, because it's like they're in one big room where everybody knows everybody's lying to each other, and everybody's just like, there's nothing we can do.
And it's almost like
Although it is kind of funny, like, to actually be... It is pretty funny that he's just caught in a bald-faced lie and he just doubles down.
It's like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, we lied about him last time, but this time we didn't. Ha!
Ha, ha, ha.
It's such a knowing, like, we're fucking you,
Yeah.
and we're not even bothering to lie about it anymore.
It is out of, like, almost bad sitcom-y kind of writing. It's that level of performance.
He might as well have cackled like a witch.
Yeah. Nah, that would be too on the nose. He's not the witch type. He's the bumbling henchman type.
Fair enough.
But so Alex goes on to cite a study about attention spans and how everyone in the world is stupid, and then tells some more lies about General Flynn.
Do you think he gets distracted halfway through the attention span information?
Maybe 3/4.
All right.
But
Well, that's not too bad.
not too bad because he's not like us. He's not lemming. He's not a dumb piece of shit, low information liberal
Oh, God damn it. I hate it when we are those.
all the time.
For those of us that actually pay attention, for those of us that actually know the narrative, the real narrative, and know what really goes on in government and knows what was really said, and who have memories. Remember what Gruber said, John Gruber? He said, thank God the American people have low attention spans and are so stupid and are low information voters. Those are quotes. I don't have a 7-second attention span. They've got studies out where children now have less of an attention span than goldfish.
Neither of those things are true.
No.
Goldfish famously have a 5-second memory span, except that's a lie. They don't.
Right.
That's stupid.
Right. It's sort of junk science a
Yeah,
little bit.
it's
But
made up fantasy world.
But Alex is actually kind of fair in this citing of this.
Okay.
The study. I looked into it, and it turns out that the goldfish, I think that it's actually like 7 seconds is what they say their attention span is.
No.
But I don't look. Who cares?
Okay.
The truth is that they did some studies on children, and the attention span used to be like 12 seconds, and it's gone down to 8 since the advent of like handheld phones that you can use the internet on, stuff like that. Technology has made attention spans go down.
Okay.
But the same study cited that a byproduct of this also is that our ability to multitask has gone up dramatically.
Right.
So there is a trade-off kind of that and it's kind of what you have to do when you're being bombarded by obvious bullshit all the time.
Right.
Celebrity culture stuff, lies from Alex Jones, these sorts of things. You have to not pay attention to things for very long because you're like, okay, no, get that out of here. Get that out of here. Move on to the next thing that grabs your attention. So that is kind of just the neuroflexibility of humans.
Yeah.
In the meantime, because we move on from things really quick, we're able to juggle more balls. I think that's a fair trade-off in terms of our brains.
You know, I have no idea whether or not there's a valuable conclusion to draw from any of that.
Certainly not related to
no,
the
whatever.
mainstream media.
Yeah, there's no explanation for what's going on there.
Further, I don't think it would be possible that anyone could have planned that, all right, we're going to get these smartphones out, and it's going to take 33% or 25% off people's attention spans. It's
You
a
mean you don't
byproduct.
think anybody could have planned that? What about somebody in the 12th fucking dimension?
That's
Did
a
you
fair
consider
point.
that?
I didn't, yeah.
They're outside of time.
That's demons, you're right.
Exactly.
Fuck.
They're doing it all simultaneously.
I always forget about the dimensions.
You got to remember the dimensions.
If their TV hits.
Volume,
It's fact.
hypotenuses.
So you have to understand, they're targeting the listeners and viewers of MSM that literally do not believe or remember that a month ago it was on every TV channel, every news channel, every newspaper, everywhere, that they had surveilled Trump and, ooh, Flynn lied. He talked about sanctions with the Russian ambassador. And then they finally released the transcript in the New York Times, and it was, well, I can't talk about those with you, but I'm sure that you know the president wants to have a reset, so I'm sure you can bring that up when President Putin and President Trump speak. That's not discussing sanctions. Did you discuss the sanctions? No. Did you line up a discussion about them? Absolutely. See, they play these games. But in real government, in the military, at those levels, and in law, they train everybody to answer exactly as they're asked because they don't want a bunch of obfuscation.
Which is
But
why
they use that to manipulate
Flynn
sessions.
got into trouble in the first place. He answered exactly as he wasn't asked.
No, you mean Sessions.
Sessions, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's getting at there at the end there is like, Al Franken had this really specific question. Did you or anybody have contact with the Russians?
Yeah.
Which was not what he asked.
No.
We've been over this 100 times.
Right.
Alex Jones doesn't understand quotes. He doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand hand quotes,
It's so,
air quotes,
It's so fucking frustrating. And one of the reasons.
auto quotes,
What-
insurance quotes, none of it.
One of the reasons I kept this in, even though he just said basically the same thing in our last clip, is because I wanted to illustrate a little bit the repetitiveness.
Right.
And how he just says the same things over and over again that
Until
aren't
they
true.
become true.
They
Yeah.
become true to your mind if you're not paying attention. Because
Right.
it's just like, oh, yeah, I guess, Flynn did get set up. I guess Sessions was asked a lawyerly question. And he wasn't.
Not even close.
Sessions answered a question he wasn't asked and answered it poorly.
Because he was nervous, because he was lying, because he is colluding with Russia
I would be
to
terrified.
break down American democracy.
I would be terrified if I was in front of the Senate and I was up to some shit.
Yeah.
I would say something.
Which, Which, again, is another reason to respect Hillary all the more, because she lied for like 12 straight hours.
That is endurance that Trump thought
Exactly.
she did not have.
Oh, man. I don't think any of us thought she had that level of endurance. And
No
she
way.
was fucking stone cold.
Benghazi,
Yeah, great.
investigate it.
Oh, servers, emails.
Man, it's so great.
Although now we're doing the same Obama shit. It's time to just move on from Hillary. We just got to let
Oh,
that go.
Totally. I mean,
Although I will say that Hillary did wiretap this podcast.
absolutely.
I think we
gotta
have
get
a
our
lot of
downloads up.
a lot of evidence that this has occurred.
Hey, if someone is like from the NSA or anybody is listening in, could you edit these episodes for me? I need to play more Zelda, and quite frankly, it's cutting into my schedule.
Also, do you guys think we're funny?
Yeah.
If you're in the NSA, email knowledgefight@gmail.com.
Do you like us? Check yes or no. Junior high letters to the NSA.
Yeah.
Okay, this next clip, Alex, this is the first of two instances where he sort of gets into talking to Trump on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he says a little bit more than he probably should. But then at the end of this, he gets into, again, his inability to understand nuance and the differences between different kinds of meetings that politicians can have.
Right.
It's incredibly embarrassing, but the part about the calls is hot stuff.
I'm always speaking to those that may not know their new listeners. So that's kind of annoying to regular listeners, but we got to keep reaching out to just, the new folks that tune in.
To sell
You don't have to believe a
shirts.
word I've said here. You can go back, if you don't have a memory, and look up where they said that they had all these communications out of Trump Tower.
That's really good advice for like the guy in Memento. If you don't have a memory, go back and check the news.
God, what a great movie that would be if the internet was around.
Holy shit. If he had a fucking cell phone.
Yeah.
Just memos instead of
Yeah,
tattoos.
exactly. Yeah. Come on, man. Technology helps everybody.
Yeah, they're really lucky they made that movie at a specific time in history. Great movie, though. I like it.
And it was a bluff. There wasn't anything there. It was so thin, it was like vapor. Okay, yeah, they lined up phone calls for the incoming president with foreign leaders. He talked to the British prime minister, the Italian president, the German president, hundreds of world leaders. Hell, when I talked to Trump 3 days after he was elected president, he said, Alex, you're like number whatever. I forget the number, because I've been talking to world leaders and royalty and business leaders all day, but you're on the list because your listeners are so awesome. Thank them for their support in this big win, and we're not going to let them down, let them know that.
Oh, I don't know if that's true or not.
I think
It seems plausible based on what we know, and yet at the same time, it seems all equally as plausible that he just decided to make that up whole
here's
cloth.
the tension. It is plausible. You're right.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, we also know that Alex is a liar.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no,
The-
what do we do?
The push and pull of reality when listening to Alex Jones.
Yeah, and so what I do is I just toss the ball up in the air. I just punt on it, I'm just like, I don't give a shit. That call may or may not have happened. It's not as important as what Alex says his response to that is.
That's true.
So he says that Trump called, and he's like, I wanted to call you, call in royalty, but I had to call you because your listeners are awesome. So there's that.
That's so silly.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
But then here is what Alex's response to that very nice call, I would say. If it did happen, that's a really nice call.
That is really nice.
It's misguided as fuck. But
It's a dumb call. I would have preferred, if it were me and I were a propagandist, I would have preferred a letter with the presidential letterhead, right?
proof.
Yeah, you could put that on your wall. You tell your grandkids about it
You know
whenever
what?
they're, have gills and we can all swim in the water.
Swim up waterfalls.
Yeah, good
great.
times. God damn you.
So what's great though is we're saying that he should send a letter because then there's proof.
Right.
Good news is there's probably proof
Oh, shit.
because I think that call was recorded.
Oh, shit.
I would
It
have
has
to
to be.
assume,
It would
yeah.
have to be,
It's
yeah.
part of the presidential record.
Exactly.
Yeah. So unless you're on the phone with Russia, everything is recorded.
Everything is recorded.
So here's Alex's response.
Or unless you're deleting typos and fucking Twitter.
Yeah. What a. Oof.
And I'm like, sir, they are going to come after you. They're never going to stop. I know you think you're going to give folks prosperity and do this, but you've got to go after them. You've got to get on the offense because they're going to come after you.
So what's,
Didn't even say, like, how are you doing?
Nope. Not a thank you.
Nothing. Oh, yes, sir. They're gonna eat your bones.
What's great about it is we know he's talking about the globalists.
Of
But
course.
what's super fun is because he's clunky with language, it kind of makes it sound like his listeners are going to come for him. Because of pronoun reference?
Yeah.
I remember.
We got to teach him how to diagram a sentence.
I'm not going to get into our private conversation about that, but let's just say the president knew that. But he doesn't. He's trying to take the ultra high road.
Yes. The president.
And he just wants to turn the economy back on, and
taking
that's
the
why
high
he
road.
could leave Obamacare there for a year and let the Democrats get the blame
That's
for
the
it.
Trump I
and
know.
the $5,000 fines and the rest of it. But he doesn't want to hurt small businesses and the average person, so he's just like a stalwart doing the real deal. I mean,
So that's actually just Alex literally verbatim dropping Trump talking points.
Yeah.
Like the idea that he could sit back and watch Obamacare implode, but he doesn't want to do that to people, is directly out of Trump's mouth.
He did say that. Yeah.
That's just him.
The weirdest thing to me listening to this is that I have seen and like absolutely zero steps towards even pretending to make the middle class's life better.
None.
No small businesses are improved.
Well,
Nothing. There's zero positive things that he's done for the very people Alex Jones is insisting are the only people he cares about.
if you listen to Alex, he does cite ad nauseum that the stock market is going up.
That
and-
doesn't help middle class or poor people. Fuck all.
No, his argument is it does, not because you don't have stocks, but all those stocks are businesses that are able to employ people. If the stock market goes up, those businesses are doing better. That helps the common man through a trickle-down kind of system. It's nonsense. But then he's also...
I'm sorry. Every time somebody says trickle down, I have a stroke. Like I start barking. I just see flames.
I don't think that's the last time you're going to bark in this episode.
I've yelled. My dad has told me about trickle down economics since I was 6, and he's been dumb the entire. Even when I was 6, I was like, "Won't they just keep the money?" And he was like, "Shut up, boy."
You know that they would because history, number one, and then
you ever hear about it?
because that's what you would do probably. I mean, like,
I know I'd wiretap Obama. That's for damn sure.
yeah, when I've had a couple times like bank errors end up accidentally giving me like 20 extra bucks.
Oh yeah,
I keep that shit.
yeah, absolutely. They don't need it. I need $20.
Yeah, so I mean, along those same lines, that's what businesses would do. But okay, so the other thing is that he constantly talks about the small business confidence index and stuff like that, and people are more optimistic than ever before. Which
Really?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean, I
literally don't know about it.
Yeah, we all live in our own little liberal bubbles, but I'm trying to read all the conservative news that I can, and even they are not optimistic.
Well, that's smart conservative news that's also controlled by the globalists.
That's true.
That's what
That's true.
you're failing to recognize.
Is Breitbart really optimistic?
Yeah, super optimistic.
Wow.
Yeah, super optimistic.
About what? Breitbart?
Yeah.
Because they're doing a lot better, I'm assuming.
Our stock is going up.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we go. Let's get back into this. We're going to get to the point here where he talks about these meetings that are... He just doesn't understand the difference between, like we talked about, with people having public and private meetings. He
Right.
just doesn't understand that at all. Anyway.
study everything going on, morning, noon, and night. And Trump is so good, so honorable, it makes me sick to my stomach to see him being rejected by so many dumbed-down people that aren't even part of the power structure.
Oh, he didn't
And
even
then I
need
look
that
at the
second
power
part.
structure against
It
him, a
just
bunch
makes
of
him sick to his
addle-doddering
stomach.
weirdos like Schumer and Pelosi and Maxine Waters that don't know what planet they're on.
Again, he only uses those references because he has that clip of them misspeaking,
Yeah.
which is petty, stupid,
Yeah.
and it's proof that he doesn't have anything.
No.
If he had anything, he wouldn't have to keep going back to Maxine Waters saying Korea instead of Crimea.
Well, you know, it is one of those things that by repetition he's created like a fixed point, so we can always go back to that area.
So you're talking about
and if he
waypoints.
starts, yeah, and if he starts, oh boy, are you getting into Zelda again?
No, that's
Okay.
we talked about this before on the show.
Oh,
That's,
did we?
That's the term we used.
Yes. But if he does bring in actual evidence that new stuff,
Uh-huh.
he's got to start that all over again.
Well, he's got to get into the weeds.
Yeah, he's got to start all over again, and then that kind of like a Pavlovian response of like, yeah, liberals are dumb has to take forever to rebuild itself.
Right, you're right. It is shorthand and cheap. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
Very bad.
It's hack, but it's effective,
Mhm.
clearly.
At this point, I would like to tease what's coming up at the end of this episode.
Okay.
We have a return of Eddie Bravo at the
Oh,
end of this
yes!
episode. So get excited
Fuck
for that.
yeah!
Anyway, here we go. Let's-
EB.
And they're like, we never have met with the Russian ambassador. And there's just photo after photo of Schumer and Pelosi and all of them meeting with him at public dinners and public events and meeting and on their schedule meeting with him 3, 4, 5 times, depending on who it is, than they did with Sessions, a piece. Because that's who you meet with when you're at the top of the Democratic Party or the top of the Republican Party. That's what goes on. You meet with the Japanese. You meet with the Chinese. You meet with the South Africans. You meet with the Brazilians. You meet with the Mexicans. You meet with any big, strong, rich, powerful country. People can say, oh, well, Brazil or Mexico aren't powerful. Yeah, they are. Their people aren't. Their elites are super rich, some of the most powerful in the world. The point is that there's constant meetings going on around the clock, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, there are. And that's, I don't dispute that at all. People meet with heads of state in official capacities.
I do think that I'm not sure if he understands the difference in a purposeful way or just that he can't understand the difference. Because to him, it seems like a meeting's a meeting.
Right,
and whatever on the record, off the record you're doing, it's still a meeting, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I mean, if he were to say, you know what, I bet other people have had off-the-record meetings with him before, I would actually be inclined to believe him. It wouldn't surprise me if, Schumer or Pelosi did have off-the-record meetings.
That wouldn't be the craziest thing ever.
No.
But the reason he can't say that is because then, I've got to do some investigative journalism, and I can't do it.
Well, but
he
even
would
then,
have to try and actually prove a point.
And if he did say that, though, then he would be purposefully lying about not knowing the difference between the different types of meetings there. So if he says, it's illicit that Schumer did these meetings off the record, that also means it's illicit that Flynn did these meetings off the record.
Right.
So he can't do that.
That's a really good point,
He's painted
too.
into that corner there.
Mhm.
He has to not understand those things.
Oh, man, that's
And
fascinating.
even if he did understand it, he has to not understand it in order to protect his guy.
The only way to be safe is being really dumb.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Ignorance is safety.
Oh, shit.
Ignorance is avoiding jail time.
So at this point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that where we go next is a clip after these Vault 7 has come out.
Okay.
The CIA data dump on WikiLeaks.
Right.
And Alex, when this happens, he just becomes a new man.
Okay.
Like, you know how when he lost the Google ads.
Right. Lost his mind,
He
screaming.
went nuts.
Yeah.
He became a totally different person in a petty, money-grubbing kind of way.
Yeah.
When this,
in a televangelist kind of way.
when this Vault 7 stuff comes out, he is like, a weight is lifted from his shoulders, and he believes that he's been proven right about everything throughout his entire life. Everything that he's said on air is totally true, and that means that everything he's going to say is going to be true, and he has proof that he tells the truth. And he gets into this.
That's like a cult leader getting the apocalypse right for once. Like, can you imagine the look on his face?
Oh, no.
Holy shit, this was real? I was just trying to fuck 12-year-olds. God damn it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. But
That's a pitch for a TV show, isn't it? The cult leader who's accidentally always right.
accidental cult leader. I'm into it.
Yeah.
So here, this clip, Alex tells a little bit of the story of his past.
Ooh,
and
I've always wanted to know more about his past.
That's why this is an intriguing clip.
Other than his interactions with Nazi police officers.
Yeah, that's not a good chapter.
Yeah, no.
This chapter is about him as a broadcaster, and I don't think it's true. I really, really, really don't think it's true. I can't stress enough, I don't think that this is true. So get ready for that, bullshit caps on.
All right, I think it's time to go ahead and announce some things here on air so that the globalists and their minions understand exactly what they're facing. Their higher-ups have known this for a long time, but their minions don't know.
Also, I just realized I think we're technically, in his eyes, globalist minions. I think we are.
I mean, yeah, I could see. I don't like being called a minion.
No.
I would accept henchman.
I would like to do voiceover for that movie.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah, get me in that. Get me in that Minions 4.
Globalist minions.
I just think that because we're his enemy, philosophically and ideologically, we would obviously clearly have to be in the employ of the globalists.
I think that is the only way. That's the only conclusion he would draw.
I can't speak for you. I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not.
Well, that's the reason that they got me. I'm here to watch you. I'm a globalist minion that's keeping an eye on you, making sure you don't go native.
Right.
You're the one studying all this shit. What if it gets to you? What if you go full on apocalypse now on us?
Oh no.
Do some Colonel Kurt shit.
I can assure you that I've gone this far down the path. I'm pretty safe.
All
I don't
right.
think there's any
I'll
turn that's going to happen.
I'll get a missive out to Soros.
Okay.
I'll hide it under a bench in a park.
Tell old Georgie boy I say hi.
Globalist forces, dysfunctional saboteur types that want to bring this country down, that want to enslave humanity and be social engineers. You have been undermined for decades, and the patriots inside our government and others have been quietly preparing for your absolute and complete defeat. Not your overthrow, but your legitimate defeat. Because you can't overthrow something that's illegitimate. You're just being removed.
That's not how words work.
Nope.
That's
A
not
lot
how
of
words
people
work.
are freaking out right now because they know this is the broadcast that told you they have kill switches and remote control in all the airplanes for at least 25 years. All the modern airplanes. We're the ones that told you they can remote control your car right off a bridge and gave you the documents. We're the one that told you over 20 years ago that television sets were watching and listening to you. We told you they could switch on the microphone in your regular landline, not just your smartphone.
But everyone, like that, they weren't the only ones saying
I
that
mean,
shit.
George Orwell said that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
it granted, he is right that he has been saying a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think even he's surprised that he was right.
if you take out all of the stuff that he's said that has not come true, that was paranoid bullshit, and only cherry pick these examples,
Of when being paranoid. Yeah.
if you're paranoid about everything, you're gonna be right a couple times.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not always watching you. You know,
And-
that kind of thing.
And these instances are things that were public. Like, a lot of these things were public. It's not that he...
Describe what things were public.
Well, the fact that people could hack into your computer.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
see you through your camera.
Hack
and
into your
stuff like
car,
that.
like that whole thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Those things are things that people who study technology have been aware of and had been warning about.
Right.
That's not like Alex Jones cracked the case or anything like that. And I don't think he would even say necessarily there's a slipping grip on power and might want to flex
Yeah,
something.
he might want to maintain that. It would be really fascinating if all of a sudden we start seeing these leaks on every politician that disagrees with him.
Uh-huh.
Because there's got to be stuff,
Right.
and it's definitely been recorded. The problem with the what Snowden revealed about the wide netting that they're doing, where they're just saving all of these communications, is that it doesn't help to stop terrorism. There's too much noise. You can't find the signal.
Right.
But it does help if you are looking for something. You know
Yes.
you have all this information to go digging through.
It helps as like an investigative tool, not
Exactly.
not a preventative
Yeah,
tool.
exactly. So if you want to release some info, like you could ruin anybody's life
Yeah.
at any moment.
Yeah.
If they have a secret, you can put that out there immediately. They're discredited or whatever it is.
Mhm. Now, I haven't read all of the new WikiLeaks dump because it's fucking
million.
massive. Literally no way Alex could have by the next day on air.
Or
so he doesn't know what's in
because
it.
he can't read.
He might be illiterate.
Yeah.
There's no way he could skim a couple headlines here and there, which seems to be his modus operandi. But
Right.
there's no way he could have a nuanced understanding of what's in there, what is actually being revealed, and he just lies about it. In the time since then, I've read up on assessments and analysis by people who are in like information security
Right.
and these sorts of fields, and basically the dump that happened is dangerous because it does illustrate a lot of tools that are at the disposal of the CIA and other intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
It does not indicate in any way that these things were used on citizens. It in no way.
I mean, no, it doesn't point. There is no smoking gun.
Right.
But, you know, you get a shiny toy, you want to play with it, you know? Like, and even if it's not been used maliciously from a government standpoint, some CIA dude has seen your naked pictures.
Right.
He has. It doesn't matter. They've shared them. You know it. I know it. Dudes are awful. It's happened.
It's probable. I have to. I'll give you that much. It's likely.
Yeah.
But it's not what Alex says.
No.
He says that it's proof that they killed Michael Hastings by running his car into a tree.
Okay.
Which is sketchy. You know, that's a little bit of a weird instance.
You're going to need a little bit more than I bet they could.
Right. He stops just short of saying, like, the Malaysian planes were instances of this. He goes so fucking far on this, and that everybody's TV is listening to them. It's like
in that book, 1984.
he's taking his paranoid fantasies. There's a slight confirmation that these tools and these backdoors are available to people in intelligence, and then using that information as confirmation of his paranoid fantasies that he's been having for years.
Yeah.
When it's not confirmation of that.
And also, they haven't had it for as long as you might think. I mean,
not
if
25 years.
Yeah, well, they're talking about the backdoors and shit that they have in iOS and
Right.
all of those things, and those, you know, those haven't been around for that long.
No.
And they won't be around for longer at all, which is the amazing thing. Like, for all the weird and awful shit WikiLeaks has done, they did this time, like, say, hey, we're not going to just publish all of the ways to get into the iOS and the Android app.
All right, we're at 51 minutes into episode 20, and just finished my demons, and I think we're going to call the stream for now. So we'll catch you next time on Kudos Live at 5.